If you've been around for a while, you know that I really love to travel and I really love books. And since I just spent the last 3 weeks on vacation and I read a lot of books during that time, I figured I might as well show you everything I've done. So here are all the books that I read while on vacation. It's 11:50 p.m. It's getting really close to midnight. We're on technically day 1 of our vacation. We traveled from Utah to Idaho today. It's like a 3.5-hour drive. It's not very far, so I'm not really counting that. Right now, what we have going on is the Harry Potter #7. So this is the last book in the series, The Deathly Hallows. And I'm only like 130 pages in so far. And I haven't read any of that actually on this trip. That was all a few weeks ago. So I'm gonna start reading it probably today. We have like an 8-hour road trip tomorrow. And just lots of driving, so there'll be plenty of time for me to sit and read this book and read lots of other books throughout the next couple of weeks.
I would say we were good together. I would say we had fun, but our trails will never run forever.
I just got back from my first leg of the vacation. We got back last night at like 9 p.m. and now we are about to head out on a plane again later today. But I wanted to quickly go over what I read. So when I was in Idaho, I read Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. This is the last Harry Potter book. And oh my goodness, did this make me emotional. I didn't think I was gonna get sad reading all the Harry Potter books. I mean, I definitely did not remember this book the most, I think, because I read them all when I was like in the 3rd grade. And it's just been a long time and I haven't seen this movie either, so I didn't quite remember everything, but there is just so many emotions going into this book. I think this one's my favorite, and my roommate actually said that J.K. Rowling, I guess she came out and said at some point like people were upset that there was so many deaths and like so many lovable characters who you've grown to love throughout the whole series, like they do die in this book. And she said that's just like the reality of war. Like you have to make it realistic, and the reality of war is that like a lot of people die. Anyway, definitely 100% recommend it. I'm kind of sad that the series is now over. I think I will probably purchase all of the books. That way I can just read them again in the future, because I really did enjoy reading all of them, and the world that she created is just so much fun. I also started reading when we were on our trip Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I'm 128 pages into this, and I'll probably read the rest of this on the plane today. Because it is a very fast read. I'm like halfway through it already. The storyline is so good. So I really do like this one. I'm excited to keep on reading it. I also have another couple of books that I got that were delivered to me while I was gone. And it is these 2 books. These are part of the Corn of Thorns and Roses series that I have been loving. This is the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm putting this in my backpack that I'm taking with me on the plane just in case I do finish Reminders of Him first. And then I also picked up the 3rd book as well, just in case I did finish this one. I wanted to have another one to read. So this one's A Court of Wings and Ruin. So we'll just see how much reading we can get done this week. And then I'm actually going to be going on another trip next week that will all be in this one vlog. So we'll be getting a lot of reading in, hopefully. We'll see. Actually heading to the library real quick before I get on my plane. We leave for the airport in like an hour. The library opens in about 10 minutes. I have a whole bunch of books that I have to like return today because they're gonna get overdue if I don't return them before I get home. But I also have like 5 books that are on hold. My library was actually closed all of last week for like they're just doing deep cleaning and maintenance on it. So I went to go pick up all my books like earlier in the week before I went on my vacation, and it was totally closed. Holds will expire this week if I don't pick them up, so I have to get them right now or else I'll have to re-put myself on the waiting list, which I really don't want to do. But that will give me another like 3 or 4 books, I think is what I have on hold there, that I can try to get through this week as well. So we'll go pick those up.
Like everything that's good in life always comes to an end. We're letting go, drifting apart. There's no use trying to pretend. And I know that it's over. Got the look on your face. It's so hard to explain, but the worst is the pain when you pronounce my name and you say Gloria, please don't cry for me. Oh, Gloria, please don't cry for me.
You guys, I'm literally in the Austin airport and they have a bookstore here called Book People. Like, do I need more books in my bag? Absolutely not, but am I gonna look at them? Obviously. So it's been a couple of days since I've arrived here in Texas. I actually fly out tomorrow, so it's been a week since I've been here. This one, I think, was what you guys probably saw me reading most recently. It was On the Plane, Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. It's about a girl who, when she was 21, her and her boyfriend were in a car accident and he ended up dying from it, and she ended up getting put in jail for that. And she ended up having his baby while she was in jail, and his parents took the baby away, and she was never able to ever see her daughter like at all. She's now trying to find her child and at least like see her. Like she wants to at least look at her. And everybody in the town that she's in, where the baby is, or I guess where the toddler is, they all hate her. Like nobody's trying to help her out. Everyone hates her. Nobody's, except for one guy, the hero kind of in this, and he's also super connected to her child as well. And so it's just a really good book about her trying to overcome all the odds. And you also get to kind of discover the whole backstory of what happened with the car accident, why she was put in jail for it, and all of those things. So definitely recommend. I think it's super good. I will say it is a little spicy. Like Colleen Hoover, she always adds like romance into it, but it's like PG-13 romance. So if you're not into that, maybe don't read it or skip those parts. But I think the story is so good and one that I really enjoyed. And I read this so fast. And then another book that I read, I think also I read this in like 1 or 2 days, was The Chase. This is by Janet Vanovich and Lee Goldberg. So there's 2 writers in this. I'm in a monthly like reading group where they give you like 5 or 6 words, and then you just have to pick a book that has one of those words in the title. And one of the words was chase, so that's why I picked up this book. This is about a FBI agent and a guy that she has been chasing for years and years and years. They end up actually catching him and actually releasing him so that way they can work with him to help catch bigger and more intense like criminals. So this book is about them working together to find a couple of stolen art pieces. I really did enjoy this book. I feel like it had a lot of like different twists and turns, and it was a little repetitive in the sense of like a lot of the same, they keep going on these like same like heists and what would you call it? Assignments together. They keep going like the same kind of assignments, but it's all very different as well. So I really did enjoy it. It is part of a series, but I don't feel like you need to read the series in order to understand what's happening. Like they had quite a bit of like good backstory on this, explaining like him getting caught and then being released and then them working together now. So I really did enjoy this book, and I think I definitely want to read more in the future just because I am curious about their little like connection with each other. If anything will happen there, I don't know, but I really did enjoy it. So I give this one 3 stars and definitely would recommend it. And the final book that I have been reading since I have been here in Texas is A Court of Mist and Fury. This is part of the Court of Thorn and Roses series that has become so immensely popular. It is definitely a fantasy style book. I'm only 136 pages into it, and I've just got to part 2. And I will say, like, so far, the other book I think was better, but I also remember that the first book, it was like really hard to get into. And then once I got into it, it was like, boom, I read the whole thing in like 2 days. This one I think is kind of similar. Like I've gotten 130-ish, 140 pages into it, and I feel like it is kind of a little slow, but I think I just got to the part where it's gonna like suck me in and just take me off until I finish reading it in like a day. So, but I think I think I got into the part where it's gonna be like I'm gonna probably sit down and read this, and I'll want to keep reading it and keep reading it and keep reading it until I finish. So I think I'll be able to get through this one hopefully in the next like 2 days. And I have a really long plane ride tomorrow, so I can read a bunch of it there. But I really do like this author and this series, so I did purchase this book, and I also have the next book waiting for me when I get home and go on my next vacation. So hopefully we can get this one done. But I do think it's good. It just does take a little bit of time to actually like get into it. Hi everyone, it's been a while. I actually got home from Texas on a Saturday, and today is Friday, so it's been a week almost. I am getting ready to head out on another vacation, little trip today. We're leaving today. It's Labor Day weekend, and so I have a few more books I'm going to try to hopefully get done on our little camping, hiking, outdoors trip. First off though, I want to go over this book. So I did finish this one, I think a day or 2 after I got home. And I think I gave this one either 4 or 5 stars. I really liked it. I thought it was really good. Overall, my thoughts of this are pretty good. I thought it was a good book, and I do think, like, I agree with the fact that I said that it kind of feels like it takes a while to get going, because it definitely does, but once you get into it, like, you get into it. I mean, once I got hooked, I like read this thing so fast. So definitely would recommend this book. But the book that I'm going to be reading next on this trip is The Book of Lost Friends by Lisa Wingate. This one I'm actually reading for my book club, and I've been trying to get into it. I'm only 24 pages in, but I feel like I don't know. It's a historical fiction, so it is based in like the Civil War era, I believe. And then it kind of bounces in between like the 1950s, I think, back to Civil War era. So you kind of have two different sides. I'm just not sure if I'm gonna love it. I know that their other book, Before We Were Yours, was like a number one New York Times bestselling author. But this one, I don't know. I'm still having kind of a hard time getting into it. I actually just requested to have the audiobook version of it because I think that might be easier for me to just listen to. Anyway, I'm gonna finish getting ready and then we'll head out on our little road trip to Jackson Hole for 4 days, I think is how long we'll be there, and we'll see how much reading I can do. Alright, so we've made it here to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. The views so far have been absolutely beautiful. We've done some hiking and we've been camping. I'm currently 88 pages into the book of Lost Friends that I have been reading. This is a book club book, and I will say it was hard for me to get into, but I'm starting to figure it out more now and I like it, so it should be a good read. And currently this is my view. It's a little cloudy, but those are the Tetons right there, so it's not a bad gig.
Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever, and I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. I was never the one to give up the ghost, no, I was so stuck,
Okay, you guys, I'm finally back home after basically like a month of vacation. I honestly think the last weekend that I spent at my house here in Utah was over a month ago. I think it was the first weekend of August, and then ever since then I have been gone on vacation. I've gotten quite a few books read though. I have 5 of them. There's 4 of them here. One of them is went back to the library, but I want to do a quick recap about this book that I last checked in about, the book of Lost Friends. This one was really hard to get into. I think part of it was that I was camping and we were hiking and just doing a lot of things like in the national park in Grand Teton. So part of it, I think, was I just didn't have enough time to sit down and like really get into it. But I did have like a pretty long car ride where it took me, I mean, I read quite a bit. I feel like it took me the first 200 pages, honestly, to get into the book, which is over halfway through the book. So I'm gonna give it a 2.5 stars for that reason. I just don't think it should take that long for me to get interested in a book. I would have liked to have it kind of grab my attention a little bit earlier on, but I did think it was really good. When I read the end of it, I thought it was super amazing, and how she wrapped it up I really did love. When I read the end of it, like if I would have just read the last 170 pages, I think I probably would have given this like a 3 or 4 stars, to be honest, but it was literally the first 200 pages that just made me not want to get into it. And I've heard the same thing from other people who said that this was just hard to get into. So it was a book club look. I am glad that I read it, but I probably won't read anything else by this author, at least anytime soon. And the other books that I read in the series, The Chase, The Court of Mist and Fury, Reminders of Him, and Harry Potter, I think out of those ones, I think I would say probably these 2 were my favorite. This one was so good, just really tugged at the heartstrings, and this one was a great book in this series as well. I'm currently reading the next book in this series, A Court of Wings and Ruin, I believe is what it's called. Super great series. I really do appreciate it and enjoy it, and this book again is amazing. But all the books I feel like I read, I really did enjoy. The Chase was super great. I actually have another book from this author already that I picked up from the library, Harry Potter, amazing. And this one we got through as well. You guys know my thoughts on it already. So anyway, we're now back home, so there's no more books for me to read on vacation, which I'm very excited about because I have a great fall TBR list to start reading. Quite a few good ones on there. I have here in the corner of my room, I'm looking at The Lord of the Rings. I have the Red Rising series, which is super great. I want to start reading Fourth Wing, which is the next book actually on my TBR, so I'm going to start reading this one hopefully as soon as today if I can finish The Court of Wings and Ruin first. Anyway, it should be a good one. I'm really excited for the fall time and all the fall books that we get to read, and just the fall festivities and everything like that. So that should be exciting. Anyway, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one very soon. Bye!